G'day everyone and welcome to episode 52. We're here at Highline in Mansfield.
So if we did one a week, it'd take us a year to do it. Episode 52.
It'd take us a year to do an episode?
No, 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
So if we did one a week, it'd be a year's worth of episodes.
That's assuming we'd ever become regular with this show. I think it's 6 weeks since our last one.
At my age, nothing's regular.
I believe there's medication for that.
Yeah.
So we got
inflammatories?
a whole lot of stuff coming up and we'll be back very shortly. G'day, he's Gary.
And he's Shane.
And you're watching ECITV.
You certainly are. Enjoy.
Okay, welcome back everyone. I'd like to welcome Wes along from Blackman's Penrith with 2 Fs from up in New South Wales. He's here with us up at Highline Mountain Bike event at beautiful Mansfield.
I've been threatening to get you on camera for quite a while. This is the first time I've managed to pin you down in the 2 years, I think it is.
Yeah, I can't say I'm
Over impressed with it?
over impressed with it, but here I am.
We've got a fair bit of BMX talk and we know how much you love to talk about BMX, so...
You were the first person we thought of after the other 6 turned it down and the other 10 turned away. You were the next on the list, mate, serious.
You've got to learn to run faster. All right,
Yeah, we have got a little bit to get through.
So I've got a list here. We quickly threw together because we were just as organised as we ever are. All right, so first thing we'll mention is we dropped into Bendigo for the second round of the Victorian State Championships. Didn't actually get the cameras out, but we did have a ball watching the riding and there's quite a few people there and good atmosphere.
It was a bit of a flying visit. We shot up in the morning and hung out at the track for a while and then shot home in the afternoon. But yeah, it was great. It was a good atmosphere. The weather was okay. It was pretty threatening for a while. Like it dumped that morning,
yep.
And then the track dried out incredibly quick. So that's what everyone was saying. We missed it, of course, but yeah, there was a little bit of carnage in practice and everything, which was a bit concerning. And again on the Sunday, I believe, but it looked like an awesome event. Like Bendigo really turned it on well for it.
Yeah, it's a good indication that the state championships might go pretty well up in Bendigo.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a long time since I've had it there. I think you said you hadn't been there since early 90s, was it?
20 years or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that 20 years?
Oh no.
30.
But, yeah, 30 years even. So 30 years. So yeah, it was. But yeah, things had changed dramatically. Like it was nothing like the old track.
Yeah. I
think they moved.
I believe Max Cairns won pro both days, but I didn't really pay too much attention to the results. Did you hear any others?
No. No, not at all.
We should have asked.
That killed that, didn't it?
If you want to see the results, head over to Scores. I'm sure they'll show all the details that you're used to seeing. A lot more details than what we're used to providing.
Yep.
So in news since our last episode, I did a lead Raceware Ultra Pants review and put that up on an Ultra for people to read. So if they haven't seen them before or haven't noticed them, the lead race pants, you see people like Sylvain Andre. Ooh, I'm going to forget all these names now. And
you should never start unless you've got them written down.
A whole bunch of Europeans. They're the skin tight ones, but I did a product review wearing them as a loose fit pant, and they're quite comfortable. And very impressed with those pants. I've been using pretty much Troy Lee for as long as I can remember, and these are much lighter, a lot of freedom of movement, and you get to the point where you've got to check if you've got your undies on or your pants. They're pretty good. I really like them. Have you had a look at any of those yet?
Not the lead pants,
Lead ones?
no. The pants for me are a bit
No, I haven't. It's not. I'm happy wearing undies, and yeah, I'm all good.
So that's up on BMX Ultra if you want to catch that full review. We caught up with Michael Bias after not seeing him for quite some time. He's got some big news coming up for us, but I'll keep that a surprise. There's another interview with him coming up very shortly, and it may or may not be from New Zealand.
All right.
So
okay.
that's
Well, that's a bit of a hint.
Yes, that's a hint.
Oh, very good.
So he's managed to escape, but where to? We'll leave that a mystery.
Have you seen many of his interviews at all?
Yes.
It's excellent to listen to. I'm a real fan of Michael. Yeah.
The bias reviews are pretty...
Bias opinion.
Nice opinions. Look, they're very informative, and he's well known around the track, you know, so it'd be great to get him to do a couple more trackside interviews and things like he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was excellent.
So on top of that, ODI have released a new Connor Fields Signature lock-on grip, and they should be arriving in Australia soon. They're a pretty hot-looking grip.
They got them into the States at Chase in America, sold out like in a heartbeat. And
Oh, really?
They've had a second shipment in since. But yeah, I presume the Australian distros are getting them in.
I believe in April, May.
Okay. Yeah. So they sold out instantly over there, and look, they are fairly expensive, but they are quality and a fairly unique design. But yeah, it was unbelievable how quick they sold out in the States.
Being the Chase distributor, do you actually get people asking you for those?
Yes. Yeah, we do. Unfortunately, it's one of those awkward things because it's an ODI product. Even though we're a Chase distributor, it's got to go through ODI to get them in Australia.
So fingers crossed, last year we'll have lots and lots of them for the Australian market.
They will need them.
Also, since our last discussion, we had Brooke Crain interview on BMX Ultra, discussing her retirement, her new role with Mongoose as a mentor and coach, and her new role at the USA BMX Foundation. Sounds like she's got her hands full, but she really looks like she's enjoying it already. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that one. Did you watch that one?
Watch the Mongoose one.
Yeah. Okay. It was quite a long discussion. I think it was over an hour, and there was a lot of aspects we discussed, including concussions and even talk about suicide. She's a suicide advocate, and it was very, very interesting and quite raw at times.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of my favourite interviews I've ever managed to do. So.
Okay, I must put that one down to watch. For sure,
when you want to put yourself to sleep, maybe. So we've also got some new race products that have come into ECI. You want to tell us about those?
Yeah, a handful. Because it's been a while since we've done a show. There's been quite a bit come in. There's some new brake pads out from Icon and 11, which are disc brake pads. There's some 11 handlebars that have come back into stock. We've just had a shipment of Stay Strong frames, which are disc only this time. So V4 frames in new colourways, which have only just turned up yesterday, whatever time this goes to air. And some profile products. There's some Madeira hubs back in stock, some Sabre sprockets, and also some Galaxy sprockets, and some mini hubs.
Sabre and Galaxy are both spline drive?
Well, not necessarily. Galaxy's 22mm spline drive. Sabre sprockets, you get a universal boss, so you can actually run a Sabre sprocket either as a bossed 19mm or a bossless 19mm or a bossless 22mm, or you can actually even run it as a bossed 24mm. So the centre boss you purchase separately, which is great because you can buy one sprocket, and if you change your cranks, all you got to do is buy the centre boss, which is like $15, and then you can just knock the old one out, put a new one in, and move that sprocket to your next set of cranks. So it's quite handy in that sense. Or alternatively, if you're running 90mm, you want to change your gearing, you just buy another gear, which is a bit cheaper because there's no boss, and then just knock it out and put the gearing on. So it just makes it a bit more affordable.
Do you sell much of that gear at Blackman's?
Sell a little bit, but yeah, BMX, freestyle stuff and that sort of stuff, it's up and down.
Yeah.
You're a bit of a profile aficionado. Do you have any Madeira gear?
Not at work, no.
On yourself?
On myself, yeah, I've got a couple of bikes
Oh, right.
with Madeira stuff on it.
Madeira's good. Not a lot of people realise that Madeira's actually manufactured by Profile, but it's just it's still the same quality and everything. And the initial concept of Madeira was where Profile was very customisable, that you could run, different cone spaces, different axles, different this and different that. Madeira was initially conceived a bit cheaper, but just come out as a standard, 3-piece axle hub, with standard Madeira bolts and everything. Since then, it's sort of morphed into the stage where it's also customisable, but it's still at that cheaper price. So even though it's a cheaper product in dollar value, it's still the same profile quality, just under a different branding.
So some of the products, like the Madeira hubs, use profile hardware.
Yeah, they're interchangeable.
Yeah.
So
same with the cranks, yes.
Yeah. So you can put a profile spline. Well, the profile spindle is the same spindle in Madeira cranks or profile cranks, and the the 3-piece axle or even the 14mm axles are just profile axles in the Madeira hubs. So yeah,
Awesome colourways.
yeah,
Come
it's
with
some
awesome
unique
colours.
colourways with the snow and burnt orange and different things like that. It just adds just a little point of difference to profile stuff.
Even the red's a matte red, isn't it?
It's a
different.
Like real dark matte red.
Yeah.
And all the different stem lengths.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
very. That's
very
one of the
short
best thing
stem.
actually. Yeah, because they come in a 36mm 1/8 stem all the way up, and it goes up in different increments.
Three
to what,
mils?
3mm increments all the way up. So yeah, it does.
So they're different lengths to profile stems.
Yeah,
You can really get your
yeah.
bars
And
where you
not
want.
a lot of people realise that, so it was a good point to bring that up for sure, Wes.
So one of the other things you mentioned was a massive range of chain rings. You're going to have to put on an extension on the shed from the sound of
Oh
things.
yeah, we've got a huge amount of chain rings coming in tomorrow. So people that are after your Insight 4-bolt or 5-bolt chain rings, yeah, we've got 2,500 or something getting delivered tomorrow while I'm sitting up here. So yeah, they're that'll have a full range of 4-bolt or 5-bolt alloy chain rings in 4 colours, available at ECI probably early next week.
And all good bike shops.
Yeah,
All good bike
that's-
shops. Yeah, that's
that's-
what I mean by when I
that's
say
the
ECI,
main-
it's for the bike shops. So yeah,
That's
they'll-
the main stuff
all
that we
be in
keep
stock.
in stock at work.
Oh,
And that's just it. That is your bread and
The
butter
inside.
stuff, you know. And at the price that they are, it's quite easily to change gears and everything, and they're still good quality. So it's just that nice, affordable price point, and there's a massive range, colours and sizes.
What else have we got here? Oh, that's it. But there's been a lot going on. We had a few floods up in New South Wales. So how did you cope with that, Wes?
Yeah, 5 weeks of rain basically is very hard to deal with. Like we had 3 weeks of basically the rain didn't stop.
Aren't you glad you've come down to sunny Melbourne,
Sunny Melbourne.
hey? And sitting on
Sunny
top of a
Victoria,
hill where we're
sitting on top of a
safe.
hill. That's great. It's awesome. Nice pine trees.
So did it affect the business at all? As in,
Yes.
the three
The
stores.
three store, yeah, but it slows
affected-
down a lot. And
But you
then
didn't. The stores actually didn't get
we,
flooded.
we didn't. No, there's no flooding. Like Penrith itself.
Didn't flood. The houses down near the river, it basically come up to the houses.
Yep.
Didn't really go into them at all. But yeah, so it slows down because everyone's can't get to
Oh,
the
of
shops
course.
and all that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. But yeah, like Windsor, Richmond, cop it as per normal. But yeah, it's but every single track in Sydney becomes unrideable.
It must affect the business so much because I mean you've still got the same overheads, the same rent, the same staff, the same insurances, and everything like that. And all of a sudden you just don't have people coming into the shop for 5
Sales, yeah, like sales fall big time. I've
Yeah.
still, because I'm in the service department, services still happen.
Yep.
But yeah, the definite turnover out the front is massively.
So did you notice once the floods had cleared and people started getting out and about again, all of a sudden there was, it's a bad word to say, a massive flood of people coming through the door.
It slowly increase.
Like yeah, because before the week before I'm off to come down to here, it started to pick up, and yeah, so when I get back, I reckon I'm going to be 3 weeks booked out in the workshop.
Oh, nice.
So
Excellent. Excellent.
I'll be shaking the tail feather.
So there's been no riding at the BMX tracks yet?
No. Well, the only track that's open is MacArthur's. Well, Castle Hill has been opened. They've had a couple of patchworks on theirs, and the MacArthur are riding the old track.
Remember when we dropped in and we checked out that old track? It was all
that-
potholed and
Yeah. So they've done a few repairs on that because
The new track's
the new track
was
well, they're-
underwater.
No, they're building the 8 metre.
And doing a couple of the corners repairs that had to be done.
pretty handy they didn't demolish the original track.
Yeah.
Very yet.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because it is supposed to be turned into a car park.
Oh, right.
I know
For the
there was
football?
some crazy. Sorry, there was some crazy photos and everything and videos of the tracks up in New South Wales.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely just totally underwater. And then once the water did recede, obviously just the mud and the ruts and everything was
Someone
just horrific.
put a drone over Hawkesbury,
Yeah.
and yet it was just brown, like for
Jeez.
it's in an awesome spot.
Are you involved in a club?
I'm involved with Penrith BMX.
And we're right beside South Creek, so
The second time you're flooded in 12 months?
second time in 12 months.
Jeez.
And yeah, the track now has to be resurfaced. So
I heard
it's-
there was discussion about relocation.
there is relocation talks. We're hoping that we do maybe get a block of land in the Gips Road Sports Precinct.
Is it higher ground or is it elevated?
It's definitely elevated. It's
So you got to pay for it. It's
No,
high
no,
ground.
no. Sorry. So yeah,
Aren't we all?
we are hoping that there is an abundance of soccer fields and football fields in Penrith, and we can basically take 2 of what they were going to do as football fields and make a better BMX track. But it's in the
Cross our fingers. Let's hope.
and once it gets built, it'll be awesome.
So we did mention at the start of the show, we're here at Highline in Mansfield. And the reason why we're here is Gary's showing off the profile mountain bike range. So there's a ton of that stuff available.
Very unusual mentioning that on a BMX show, but it just does show the variety of profile stuff that is available. And until I started sort of putting together a display for up here at Highline, I didn't realise how much mountain bike stuff we actually carry at ECI. So and how much potential there is, because they're loving the products up here, and it's only day one.
Is there much crossover, or is it pretty much specific mountain bike stuff, BMX stuff, very separate?
Probably the only real crossover is the 31.8 stems. The 31.8 clamp stems, so
Nova?
the Helm and Nova stem. Like one is specific mountain bike and one is specific BMX. Hence, because of the size of the bolts and everything, but there is a bit of a crossover there. Apart from that,
Cranks.
Oh yeah, the cranks, of course. Yeah, the cranks can be utilised. The elite cranks, or the spline drive cranks, or just normal BMX race cranks, can be utilised in the mountain bike side of things. But the hubs are definitely unique. Probably the only thing that you'd say is a crossover is if you're running a front 36-hole non-disc elite hub. That's virtually just an elite BMX hub. But apart from that, all the rest of the hubs are unique to mountain biking, mountain bike spacing and hole pattern. So,
actually, the reason why Wes and I are here is because we're running the dual slalom and the speed and style with Sean, who's wandered off. And
that's why it's quiet.
To give you a bit of backstory, Shannon Rademacher, who runs his event, actually helped me get BSX started back in the day.
Oh.
Helped build the track, and he sort of lived with me part-time. We've travelled a lot together. He's a BMX racer, and so unlike me and the rest of us, he's actually grown up and moved on to bigger bikes.
I ride bigger bikes.
But I've noticed a lot of BMXs here.
There is
or former BMXs.
A lot of former and current BMXs.
Yeah,
I mean, Josh Jolly and a few others that are riding here this weekend. But there's also, a heck of a lot of former BMXs.
Caroline Buchanan.
Caroline Buchanan.
Harriet Burbage-Smith. Luke Parker.
Yeah, Luke Parker's here, yeah.
John. I've gone blank. What's his surname? Jonathan Hoare. So John Hoare. Yep. Who used to be a BMX rider, a BMX Ultra team rider. Mick Williams, who now makes a lot of mountain bike stuff. I saw him pulling a whole bunch of backflips on the speed and style kicker.
I'll tell you what, speaking of that, pulling backflips down there, we've got to, hopefully we've got time to run around with the camera or something and show you a couple of the little highlights of Highline, because it's an incredible event. I mean, I'm blown away by the work that's gone into this and the size of the jumps. Like, it's unbelievable. Anyone who hasn't been up here, make sure you put it on your calendar for next year.
It's definitely worth looking at. I mean, I'm not really a mountain bike fan. I don't own a mountain bike. I haven't for many, many years. But coming here and just watching and seeing the skills of these guys, it's just, it's a great spectacle.
Yeah.
It's a worry that, not a worry, but it's just, it'd be better to be a spectator than be one of the guys running the event, because we don't get to see the whole lot, do we?
Well, that's what happens.
Yeah.
But someone's got to run them, or else they can't
true.
be on.
That's true.
Yeah. No, that's definitely one that worth putting on the calendar for next year.
All right, well, we did have Shannon lined up to come and see us, but
He's a very busy man.
Yeah, apparently he's caught up doing something else. So I reckon we'll just call this a normal show, and hopefully one day in the future we'll catch up with Shannon.
A normal show?
A normal show.
Why would you
really
call
boring.
any of our shows a normal
just
show?
talking crap and
yeah.
Just what people are used to. Actually, now you don't actually have to watch this one.
No. You can see the amount of work and the skill and the professionalism that goes into recording one.
Wow, that all happens in editing.
all the editing.
What editing?
I'm going to cut your crap out.
Nah, look, everyone, thanks very much. And yeah, if you do get an opportunity, come up to Highline next time it's on, because it's worth having a look. And thank you very much, Wes, for joining us and helping out this weekend.
Well, hopefully we get this opportunity to sit down at a BMX race and do a show one day. Maybe in front of an audience. We've got an empty seat here.
It does look a bit weird.
Someone was supposed to take photos of us during the show.
Yeah, but believe it or not, he's sitting over there talking.
He's probably talking to Shannon.
Saying smart move, mate. You got out of that one. Anyway, we're just
Talking
crap now. So. Oh, there's Shannon. Go, mate. Nah, all good.
Do you want him? He's saying.
No, it's okay.
all good.
Thank you very much, everyone, and see you again in the next episode. And thanks again, Wes.
See you next
No
time.
problem.
Bye-bye.
Bye. The camera in front.
Normally when we do it, I go and work for Gary for the day, so we talk shit the whole day, and
Whole
we're going to
day.
come up with more shit.
We spend like 3 hours planning the show, and then we talk shit for 20 minutes and go, is that it? Why did it take so long to work it out? That's it. Oh. How'd you do that? Did you rub it?
You'd be used to that happening to you.